All right, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Thursday night. Welcome to the program on Real America's Voice, or Channel 219, Pluto TV, Channel 240, 1175 on Samsung TV Plus, Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and, of course, Select TV, Channel 106. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Also, remember, follow us. Jump into the chats. Jump onto the socials. Say hello. Slick is already... Where are you already, you said? You're in the YouTube chat?
I'm in the YouTubes.
He's in the YouTubes chat already. Facebook, Twitter, X, Kick, Getter, Instagram, and, of course, it's LFSXB Show on Instagram. And, of course, the Rumblers in the Rumble chat. Welcome to a Thursday night. Hope you are well. As you can see, Big D isn't here. He's just running a few minutes late, so he'll be here in just a few moments. You know what? I find like anytime we say that, he ends up going home. He's like, you know what? No, he says he's on his way here. So we'll hold down the fort till he walks in because it's been a big day of news. We'll get to it, of course. Slick Rick is here with sports. Slick, how are you?
I'm doing good. Drag Blacker in the YouTube chat said Damon is gone. I'm not sure what that means. Wishful thinking?
He's not gone. He's getting his feet done.
Oh, is he?
It was so nice out today. I'm sure he's probably had his feet done today.
Yeah.
Had them all grinded down.
With a McCulloch chainsaw.
Right, exactly. Little sparks were flying all over the place. He probably caught fire.
Look at Vin. Vin's like just pleading the fifth. He's not jumping on his bandwagon.
Staying out of this one for sure.
He's been down that road.
Speaking of Vin, Vinny Mac is here. Vin, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Thank you very much. And Damon, I think Damon's going to anti-cranky school right now. He's got class, and we'll see how he comes back in.
He's going to be going to summer school for that.
He's going to be all cranked up.
Oh, my goodness.
It could be a master's program. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's mastered it all right.
Yeah.
Anyhow, like I said, it's a Thursday night. Lots and lots and lots of news all over, up and down. I think we know they picked a new pope.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a little bit. I want to wait for Damon on that because I'm sure he might have some thoughts on the new pontiff that was selected, the American. They picked an American, which is I have a theory on that. I'll share that later.
Okay.
But also, what else is going on? Tom Tillis, Judge Spiro.
Tom Tillis. First, did Trump just pull an end around by making that move on Tom Tillis?
I don't know. We'll see. Because he did pick, of course, we've been talking the last few days, or maybe more than that, about Ed Martin and trying to get him confirmed as the DA in I guess the role as a DA at
DA in DC.
Yeah. That looked like it was going to die. So in order to preserve Ed Martin, he's been appointed to a new role within the DOJ. And like you were saying, is this an end around? It could be.
It has to be, because this guy was going to be the determining vote, not to approve. He made it clear Trump might not have had anywhere to go. This guy dug his heels in, but we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
He needs to be
And you're
history.
talking about Tom Tillis.
Yeah, Tom Tillis. He needs to be history. He needs to be primaried. He needs all of these negative things to happen. I think we talked about this last time I was on, that Trump needs to put the sledgehammer down. But he did what he had to do here. He had to make a change or risk, that liberal judge making the appointment, which nobody wants that. So.
You know what? Yes and no, because I was perusing the X, and I saw a lot of people talking that Trump did have a move.
Really?
And it was a move that he could have used on any of the others that he was trying to get confirmed through the committees and through the Senate, is that he could just appoint them as the interim for and they get 2 years. And then, and from what I understood, that Ed Martin would have to relinquish the interim job that he had now, and then he could be appointed by Trump in a maneuver that would grant him just over 2 years in the office, and then he could grant him another 2 years in the office if he wanted to.
That's the case, I think, with most appointees. Right? Yeah.
So he could have made that move. He chose not to, and I don't know why, but maybe he thought, you know what, there's another way around this. And maybe this is his way of playing nice with the Senate because he's got other things that he needs them for.
Well, what he did was he replaced him with a really good pick that's going to deliver the things that we all want to see delivered. You know, Judge Pirro is tough. She's on the MAGA agenda. She understands Trump. It could have gone a lot worse, I think, from anyone else. And I think she's known by us, the voters, more than anybody else. We at least know her. We've heard her talk about all of these subjects and the lack of fairness going on right now.
No, and I understand that. And you know, she's if you don't know who she is, Judge Jeanine Pirro, she's a regular on Fox News on the 5. And again, that's where it kind of catches me off guard. It's like, another one? Do we have? I know she's got a background. I know she has a background as a judge.
She's got legit.
Long-term, she's legit.
Yeah.
But is there somebody else? Possibly a little bit younger, maybe not a TV personality, because that's what the media is going to focus on now. Oh, he's picking another Fox News person, right?
Well, yes, and I think that's, he's right. It's fair criticism because it's true, but all those people don't need the job. Judge Jeanine makes good money.
Right.
She does not need this job. Everybody else seems to be paid off. Everybody else seems to be at least working off of favors or have some political favor they're providing or some bias because their campaign was supported by George Soros or someone else. Everybody else seems to have something like that.
Right.
I don't think the judge here is going to have any of that, which why I like these picks.
And again, she's a strong voice, strong judicial voice on that show. Always makes her, she always seems to be in line with the agenda of the America First, America First agenda, the Trump administration, which I guess is a good thing. It's a positive thing. Let's face it. Again, it's just the looks. It's like, not another TV person. Come on, man. There's got to be somebody out there that would be able to get through this process and get confirmed and do exactly what he wants them to do in D.C., and that is help him drain that swamp.
I was talking to someone about this today, and it comes down to this for me. If I'm in his shoes, Trump's shoes, who do you trust? Like, who do you really trust?
Right.
He appoints judges. He appoints people he thinks he knows that people say, and all of these things come together. But the judge, Jeanine Pirro, he can trust because he's seen her in action. He's heard her. She's talked to him. It's not like she's a stranger. Mm-hmm. I think he can trust her to do the things that he wants to get done, like Kash Patel.
Right.
He can trust Kash. If nothing else.
Unfortunately, what I've heard is that she surrounds herself with a lot of the Fox liberals. That's what I've heard from people there.
We had the judge on this show. What's wrong with the judge?
Did you?
Yes, we did.
Judge.
Right.
Yeah.
You did when she was promoting her book.
Here.
2 years ago.
Let's hope Trump can convince her to stay for 4 years. Is
I
the
love
way I
her.
look at it.
She's
I
sharp.
don't know.
What's wrong? I mean, she's fire.
Me too. I love her.
I mean,
Hey, everybody, Damon's here.
The reason we like
Welcome.
Give me
Ed
5.
Martin because he's an outside the swamper, kick ass, take names kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, she's exactly the same.
Yes, she takes no prisoners. I love
Just
her.
because she's on TV, I don't think that.
Disqualifies her.
I'm not
I
saying
don't
it's
think it lessens
disqualified.
the appointment whatsoever.
I just think it kind of highlights a criticism of, it's like all these shiny people. It's like, can we get some, like a J.D. Vance? If you had somebody on a J.D. Vance level that you'd be like, this guy would be a great prosecutor. Let's bring him in or her in. Then go with that. I don't know.
Well, in context,
Did you have somebody you were pulling for or something? I don't get this at all.
No, it's just, I don't know.
What don't you know?
What makes her shiny? What makes her a shiny? What did you just say? It's a shiny object.
She's a TV personality. That's the way they're going to portray it. And that's
what's
the way.
her history
That's the way,
before she got to TV.
Right, I understand that, but that's how everybody knows her, as the TV personality who used to be a judge. You know what I mean? Unless you were sentenced by her, you don't know who she is.
well, but I think that plays in her favor because she's pontificated on everything. Because that's her job as a media person, right? And as a judge, her expert opinion, on legal matters. So I'm with Damon. I think this is a really good pick. And also, Trump had to make a change. This Tillis wasn't going along with the program. You know, he probably wasn't able to eliminate this guy. He still needs him for votes, right? To your point.
Yeah.
And so he made a change, and he picked someone that he knows he can trust, like I said before, that he knows is on the same sort of mental outlook and viewpoint as we are.
I mean, I think Trump gets to, by the way, I think Trump gets the big checkmate on Ed Martin. Not necessarily directly to Tom Tillis. Someone's going to have to deal with that upon re-election. But for me, Ed Martin's more powerful today than he was yesterday, where Trump just put him. Unleash him.
Yeah.
There. Let him go to work there. I think he can actually absolutely probably be more effective and do more and have more power there in the position he's in than what he would have been doing. By the way, did you see was that interview from today that he got attacked for that whack job?
Yeah, I think it was today.
Oh my God. I mean,
he got spit at.
People are absolutely nuts. In a live interview the guy's doing, he gets spit on from some left-wing lunatic who walks up to the interview.
They are violent, just deranged people right now on the left. It's scary. What's happened to them?
But boy, I tell you, it seems to me that Trump gets the big checkmate, big middle finger. Oh yeah, you don't like him here? Well, watch this. Well, let me put him over here.
Yeah. Now he's got two, and good spots. Very important spots, by the way.
See it again, Damon. My argument. I don't know if you heard it because you were probably driving in.
All I heard was my name and what I was doing today and how late I'm going to be and my nails getting done and everything else.
Well, you got your hair cut.
No, I did not.
You didn't?
No.
No, it's fresh moose. Fresh moose. Damon's breaking in today.
Vin gave me some of his grease car tar. He used to put in his hair.
I gave you
Brill
some
cream. He gave you a little brill cream.
Gave
A
you
little
that
dabble,
brill cream,
do you?
huh?
Tar. Yeah.
No, I was saying that maybe he could have made the move that that presidents have that latitude where they can appoint someone for like 2 years without being confirmed.
Well, he appointed her as interim into this position, I believe, right? Which Ed Martin just came out of because his time was up May 20th.
Right, but the argument was he could have resigned that position today and then got appointed to that 2-year term that the president would have latitude over. But as I was telling Vin, he had that option, but it seems like maybe he needs something from the Senate, so he's not going to pick this fight. He's going to pick a different fight, and he needs Tillis for it. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know that's why would he have pulled him out if that was the case? Because he really wanted Ed there, I think, more than anybody else. So I think they pulled him because they know they couldn't get him through.
Yeah.
And now she's there for, I believe, 4 months, 120 days, which is the interim appointment. And then she would have to decide, I believe, that she wants to do this more than the 4 months and then get confirmed, I believe. So if he could have kept, I'm not saying you're wrong, Delgado. I don't know the minutia of all that.
Right.
But if he could have just retired and then got appointed for 2 years, it seems to me that Trump would have done that because he was the guy he really wanted. At least when I listened to him.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
So I don't know that was an option, quite frankly. All right, 13 past the hour, just getting started live from Studio 6B. News, sports, all coming up on a Thursday night.
I don't think he owns a pair of socks. Maybe one or two.
I'm not hating on the judge.
Here come the judge.
I
Here
love her,
come
man.
the judge.
She's dynamite on the five, man. She smokes everybody. She smokes them.
I just checked. She was a guest on the show in September of 2020.
That's it.
That was that long ago?
There we go.
Wow.
That was her book.
I remember that.
Liars, Leakers, and whatever came out.
You interviewed her.
Yep.
5. Wow.
Was I here?
You were here.
Oh, yeah, I was here. Yeah, she didn't leave a mark.
Define here.
It wasn't memorable.
You were here, yeah.
About as here as always.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Fran. See, Fran's on my side.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this one in the YouTube. Sandra
Stay with
Trumbo. This one's for you, Ray.
Stick with
Slickster, I love your look. Make Delgado put your glasses on. He needs a new look.
Ouch.
Sandra Trumbo
Wow.
in the YouTubes.
Fine.
Well,
Whatever.
why? You guys, when they kill
Whatever,
you,
Sandra.
always read that. Sandra Trumbo. Come on, from downtown. How about those Knicks, huh? Wow.
Oh,
How
my goodness.
about-
That
Damon,
was
is your
just
family
amazing.
are they in therapy now over that
No.
up there?
I've been thinking about it. I think if I could, I was talking to Paul Nolan today about this. If anyone has a extra $100,000 laying around, they want to loan me for one night, and I'll give it back the next day. I'd bet the Celtics -5.5 over the Knicks in Game 3 for everything I could get my hands on. Everything.
Interesting.
Whoa, that's
Are you telling me a team down 0-2 that has given up two 20-point leads is now going on the road to Madison Square Garden and they're a 5.5-point favorite?
crazy. Well, I guess they're so confident they're going to come roaring
That
out of the
is
gates.
nut job crazy.
Yeah.
Give me everything on the Celtics.
I thought that for game 2, honestly, but I was shocked the Knicks won that game.
$5 super chat. Sorry, Vin. Drag Black at $5.
Thank you, Duchess
Damon is
62.
just saying this because he's on TV and wants a government position. Delgado has a point. Stop abusing him. Stop abusing him, Damon.
Someone said Aaron started a hashtag today, should have been Damon. I like that one. It should have been me, even though I have no experience.
You'd be a good judge.
Barely any brain
great
cells.
judge.
And no law degree, but
Charles Barkley's shorts
there you go.
says, no, Delgado, you're there. Thank you. I think that's
Judgmental.
a.
All rise.
And Duchess 62 says, don't
All
worry.
rise. I'm going to lunch.
Hey, Slick.
First case will be Rick Delgado guilty.
Duchess.
Ba-ba-da-da. 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
I got a plastic bag for the box. And I covered the bag. Cover the box in case it rains.
Okay, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Slick's going to do some sports. Delgado's going to do some news. Vinnie Mac's got some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down on what was a busy day in news.
Oh, yeah.
Lots going on today.
Oh, my goodness.
Talked a little bit about Judge Janine, who I love. Man, she'll go in there and kick some ass and take some names as well. Ed Martin now goes to the Department of the DOJ, which I think is great as well. Ed Martin tweeted out something after he officially had resigned from that position from his regular Twitter, which, by the way, he follows us on X, and I follow him on X. He tweeted out a picture of him as the Pope saying, plot twist, which I thought was pretty funny.
We didn't see any smoke coming out of the White House.
No,
did
we have our first American Pope in history, which is
Yeah.
exciting. We'll talk about that. President Trump tonight says he's going to meet with him. And I know people are all, going through his X feed and finding all the things they don't like and all this. But I think today's a day to rejoice and hope that he's a good steward of the church. And so maybe we'll get into that as well. There are obviously some concerning things that positions he's taken. More than concerning, quite frankly. He looks very similar to the guy Pope Francis.
He's a
when
wacko.
it comes to open borders and everything else. But I don't know. Trying to be positive here. So
You?
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, I was trying to be positive all day. It's just it's one of those days that I think you think about 2,000 years of, and I don't know. It's just I was trying to be uplifting and think this appointment comes from God. And you want to be, you know what I mean? You want to. I don't know. It's just one of those special days. But then you start to look at he's pretty active on X.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
That surprised me. I'm sorry, but if you're like a cardinal,
Yeah.
why are you on social media like tweeting out stuff that
Pretty strong
it's like,
stuff
what
against
the heck
Trump,
are you doing?
against J.D. Vance.
I saw.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
I don't like any of that. But, he went to Villanova. I mean, think about it. Think if you went to Villanova when he was there and you were hanging out at a keg party and there was this guy and now he's the Pope. I mean, I think that's just amazing to me. There's first of all, obviously no American's ever been Pope, but nobody who went to a university here in this country became Pope that you probably actually hung out with if you were at Villanova. I mean, think about that. It's crazy.
That is wild.
It's just crazy to put together. I got a couple of friends of mine, one in particular, who went to Villanova, and he was thinking, geez, I could have been hanging out with this guy. Maybe he had my dorm room, or maybe I saw this guy around.
Yeah, maybe you
Who's
saw
the
him
Pope?
doing a what do you call it, a keg stand?
Yeah, I mean,
Imagine that.
The thing is, he's just like a real guy. Usually they pick these popes. We don't know who they are, where they're from, what they're doing. This guy from this other country. But doesn't speak English. We don't know what's going on. We hear about him, and it's all good. And now this guy. Yeah.
A couple things. I actually went to the College of Cardinals report where all the Cardinals and their positions are staked out. It's collegeofcardinalsreport.com, and then you can look up now Pope Leo. And from his page, I posted this before. It says, on the key topics, Cardinal Prevost, now Pope Leo, says little, but some of his positions are known. He is reportedly very close to Pope Francis's vision regarding the environment, outreach to the poor and migrants, and meeting people where they are. He said last year, quote, the bishop is not supposed to be a little prince sitting in his kingdom. He supported Pope Francis's change in pastoral practice to allow divorced and civilly remarried Catholics to receive Holy Communion. Prevost appears somewhat less favorable to currying favor with the LGBTQ lobby than Francis was, but he showed mild support. Prevost has faced some controversy regarding clergy sexual abuse, although he has been defended in both instances. The Cardinal's supporters stress his innocence and say the cases have been inaccurately and unfairly reported in the media. Kayleigh McEnany posted a couple things about him from, I guess, things she knows. She says, as bishop in a city northwest in Peru, he opposed a government plan to add teachings on gender ideology in schools. And he said, quote, the promotion of gender ideology is confusing because it seeks to create genders that don't exist, he told the local news media. In 2012, in an address to the other bishops, he lamented that Western news media and popular culture fostered sympathy for beliefs and practices that are at odds with the gospel. And you can, I guess, imagine what he might be talking about there. He told the Vatican's official news website last year that, quote, the bishop is not supposed to be a little prince sitting in his kingdom. Rather, he said a church leader is called authentically to be humble, to be close to the people he serves, to walk with them, to suffer with them. So, again, I don't know. I know where everybody's at, and I know this audience. I'm seeing the chat, but I'm trying to remain hopeful and positive that this is not Pope Francis 2.0.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But he's just a man. He's a figurehead of one of the biggest organized religion on the planet as far as Christianity goes. But he is just a man. And I don't like any of the popes that get political.
Yeah.
I don't like any of that. What I want are, for me personally, popes that are inspirational, popes that do good things,
right.
Popes that stay out of, I don't like Trump or J.D. Vance or get involved in all this stuff, whether it's liberal or conservative, frankly. I just think they shouldn't be involved. And if we look at the history, and I only know this from a potential project I was working on that was was a true story based on some of these popes. They were the power brokers in the 14 to 1500s. Yep. They were the guys that ran cities and states and so on. So there was a lot of power there, and things get a little nutty with that.
Yeah.
So now we have someone
swept up in it.
I just want good things. I want sincerity. I want humbleness. I want people to be inspired to be faithful. And if a pope can do that, great. But the rest of it, just stay out of it.
Don't mix religion and state. That's what they always say. It's so true.
Yeah, it has no place for it.
No place for it. I agree.
All right, 23 past the hour. More on all of this, but let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slick's got it. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, let's get to the scoreboard. NBA playoffs, just one game in the NBA in action tonight, 8:30 p.m. in Minnesota, downtown Minneapolis. I'll be there within the month, right across the street from where Purple Rain was filmed, in the Target Center, where I danced on stage with Prince's band. The Timberwolves are taking on the Warriors, and the line is 11.5 points, Big D. They're expecting, I think the odds makers are expecting more smoke than the Pope's conclave there. But anyway, that's the spread on that game, 11.5 points. Timberwolves need that one. They're down 1-0 against the Warriors. And, if you lose 2 at home, like what the Celtics are going to find out, series may just about be over. But we'll see. To be determined. To the ice we go. NHL playoffs. We got 2 games in action. We got a game 2 in Washington, down in D.C. Capitals leading 1-0 over the Hurricanes. 9 to go there in the second period. Carolina leads that series 1-0. So Washington really has to get it done tonight, even that series. And then out in Vegas, we're going to have the Oilers visiting the Golden Knights. Also, that's a game 2. Edmonton leading that series 1-0. Another home team that really needs the win. That's a 9:30 p.m. puck drop there. So again, we'll give you an update what we can on the show tonight for sure. I'll get to a quick story here. ABC News anchors mock the Cubs after Pope Leo XIV is announced. Acquainted with suffering. Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart. I might just get to this. The ascendancy of the first American to the chair of PETA was apparently not enough of a solemn occasion to prevent ABC's conclave of anchors from taking a shot at the new pontiff's purported baseball team. White smoke poured forth on Thursday afternoon to let the world know that the conclave of Cardinals had settled on a new pope. Cardinal Robert Provost, an American from Chicago, now known as Leo XIV, had become the first American elected to the papacy. It didn't take long for ABC's Terry Moran himself, a Cubs fan, and co-anchor David Muir to seize upon the long-suffering of Northsiders and incorporate that into their coverage of Leo XIV. So apparently he's a self-professed Cubs fan. You know, something you said struck me, that he was a Cubs fan from the south side of Chicago, and yet you hear him, the Vatican described for his quiet, humble way, Muir began. That's perhaps how he survived being a Cubs fan from the south side. So apparently south side is where the Chicago White Sox are.
Charlie Kirk, Turning Point, pulled Robert Prevost's registration, Republican Party, and he has voted pretty much red all the way down the line.
Uh-oh.
So.
Oh, I like him a lot now. No, okay.
Hey, get him on X more often.
Trying to hold out hope here, Vinnie Mac. 26 past the hour. We'll do more when we get back right after this. Did you hear Kash Patel say today to Kennedy, or maybe it was yesterday? Kennedy asked him about how Epstein died.
No, I didn't see that one.
Mm-hmm. And?
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sweet.
You going to tell us?
Kash said, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center. What do you think about that?
I did see that. I laughed. I believe he himself.
You're laughing at Kash?
Yes. Because he didn't say, I believe it. He says,
I believe he hung
died.
himself in a cell?
Right.
He's just stating the fact of what happened.
What they said.
What they said, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you don't think he actually believes that?
Probably not.
That's just
That's
so
me.
hard
That's
to
my
believe.
theory.
You didn't get
I
all
don't think
choked
he
up over
believes
that, did you?
Mike Ben said, Kash, blink 3 times if this is a 4D chess move and you're just fighting off pressure for now. Blink 4 times if you're trying to tell us that they have something on you.
I like the blinking. It's good.
Aaron?
Aaron.
Hey there. Oh, I texted you.
Thank you.
Hi, Aaron. How you doing?
How you doing?
You all ready for tomorrow
Hey.
night? All fired up?
Hey.
We did, Damon, solve the idea that Rick is using that box to carry his computer in every day and not having a computer bag because he expects one day to be able to return it. And he's keeping the box that it was in so he can do that. He's done that with clothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that with jeans. Probably maybe the shirt he's got on right now.
Did you buy it at Costco?
No.
That's your first mistake. They'll take anything back.
I know.
Yeah, there you go.
Anytime.
That's true.
Yeah, but I think Best Buy will too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Give it to Harry. He'll find a way to return it no matter how used it is.
Damon returns his college bed, entire college bed set.
Harry returns everything. I'm returning this Apple computer.
Oh, I could see
it's an
Harry.
IBM, sir.
Harry, Harry returned a half-eaten breakfast sandwich yesterday.
Biden went on The View, huh?
Yep.
Oh, that was
We got a couple. I think we got one
outstanding.
clip, 2 clips.
It's got to be.
And Jill.
Did you get the interview I sent you today?
I did. I didn't watch it, but I got it.
Yes. The people at The View couldn't have like sucked up more to him either. I mean, it was just gross. Gross.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Hope to see as many of you as possible at the America First Warehouse tomorrow night on a Friday night live with a live audience there. America First Warehouse, you can scan that QR code, go to their site right now. And, boy, what a night it's going to be. Frank's Steaks outside.
Whoa.
And we got the cigar truck, which Big D, of course, is looking forward to. Who did I say that was? This company that Joe the Box got? I think it's Mac Miller. Mac Moby Cigars. Oh, man, come on. I mean,
Whoa. Get your Mac on.
can't wait to see that. So join us at the America First Warehouse tomorrow night. If you're in the area and you're listening right now on 103.9 LI News Radio, we'll see you down there. Hopefully, I'd like to see as many of you come out as possible. It's going to be a good night. Again, you can scan that QR code, or if you're listening on radio, go to theamericafirstwarehouse.com, theamericafirstwarehouse.com, and get your tickets right now. So it's going to be a fun night tomorrow night. Let's do some news right now. News is brought to you by our friends at eternallifecoin.com. One word, eternallifecoin.com. Great gift, great piece to have for yourself. Give us a gift, whether it's for birthdays or obviously a lot of you did for Easter as well. And on a day of rejoicement as we have today, it's a beautiful symbol of Jesus to carry around with you, whether you think it's protection or just something symbolic to hold on to. It really is a beautiful piece. EternalLifeCoin.com. Check it out. Rick Delgado's got the news. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, something we were talking about at the top, or in the last segment, I should say. The new Pope. We got a new Pope, Damon.
Wait a second.
Oh,
There wasn't any orange smoke as many had hoped. I don't know if you guys saw that one. The orange smoke, of course, with Donald Trump
I thought that
making
was
his
Snoop.
appearance. No, the real smoke.
Yeah.
Here is cut number 2. Check it out as the smoke starts to emanate from the pipe there, the chimney
listen
from the
to that.
Sistine Chapel. You can
Amazing.
hear the crowd in the background,
Amazing. So
signifying that the conclave has chosen a new pope.
That was wild.
a little unexpected. I heard even some other cardinals and some bishops and others who were there who were interviewed say, wow, we weren't expecting it. I was giving an interview. I listened to this one. He said I was giving an interview, and all of a sudden I heard this roar, and I turn around, and oh, my God, there it is. And, yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Pretty quick. I thought it was going to take a little longer the way they were talking.
Surprised on the timing, surprised
Yeah.
on the pick as well.
Wow,
A lot
look
of
at
people
that
had this other guy locked in, but
Yes.
no.
Wow.
Pick the American.
Sarah, right? The guy out of Africa.
Is that who it was? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So Cardinal Robert Prevost, I should say, has been elected the new pope, becoming the first pontiff from the United States. He chose the name Pope Leo, XIV, whatever that is. What is that, 14?
14.
14. The 69-year-old new pontiff. He's 69 and he hangs out on Twitter all day. 69-year-old pontiff appeared on the balcony of the St. Peter's Basilica and said, "Peace be with you all." Here he is making his first appearance after, of course, being chosen as pope. This is cut number 3. There he is, doing the pope wave.
Kind of looks like a Leo. It does.
Not astrologically.
Kind of looks like a
Name.
Marvin. Looks more like a Marvin. Anyhow, he thanked his fellow Cardinals. The Cubs, and the Yankees for selecting him, and spoke in Italian, Spanish, and Latin. Having spent years working in Peru, he thanked his former diocese in South America as well, where a loyal people, he said, have shared its faith and have given a lot. He also spoke warmly of the late Pope Francis and concluded by leading the crowd in prayer. He appeared after the white smoke streamed from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, signaling that the 133 cardinals inside had indeed elected a new pope. And as you heard and as you saw, the crowd erupting in a loud roar when they saw the smoke coming out of the St. Peter's Square. So
Yes.
there you have it.
I saw this message today, and again, I really did spend the day, looking at some of the stuff that people are concerned about, but also thinking about trying to the other side. And I saw this, and it said, if you're viewing the election of Pope Leo the 14th or 14th, through the lens of American left-right politics, you should stop now for the good of your soul. Celebrate the election of the Holy Father. Pray for him. Pray that you have the humility to follow him where he calls you to grow. Trust in the Holy Spirit, for the Holy Spirit will never abandon Christ's church. You are not called to commentate on the Holy Father's rule. You are called to act justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly with your God. You are called to be a saint. Focus on that and everything else will fall into place. And I think that's a beautiful message.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful
done.
message.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, President Trump congratulated the new pope and expressed excitement to meet him. He says it's such an honor to realize he is the first American pope. What excitement and what a great honor for our country, Trump wrote on social media. Of course, the mayor of Chicago, one Brandon Johnson, his local pride was expressed by writing, "Everything dope, including the Pope, comes from Chicago."
Well, it's a good rhyming thing, but that's about it.
He's got a future in rap.
Yeah, that's about it.
Check, please.
So there you have it, the mayor of Chicago chiming in with his stupidness. So there you have it. The Pope spending most of his career overseas, as I mentioned, studying in Rome and then arriving in Peru, where he spent a large part of his career in 1985. Other big news today, Damon. I know you saw this because it was happening. It happened before the Pope. Is the announcement of the new UK-U.S. trade deal from President Trump, making the announcement early this morning and getting out in front of the cameras and doing it. Here he is, cut number 4, announcing the UK trade deal. This is President Trump, cut 4.
This morning, I'm thrilled to announce that we've reached a breakthrough trade deal with the United Kingdom. Incredible country. Today is a victory day for World War II. We won the war together exactly 80 years ago, so there could be no more perfect morning to reach this historic agreement. And it's beautiful weather out, I will tell you that, Keir. Beautiful weather. It's so perfect outside. But it's really, in particular, the agreement with one of our closest and most cherished allies. And we're so happy that that's the way it worked out. I want to thank Prime Minister Starmer and his very talented team for their outstanding work and partnership. Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks. With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade.
Yeah, so that was the president, of course, announcing the deal. It's the first such deal since his steep tariffs unrolled last month, and they roiled the stock markets, raising fears about a U.S. recession. Trump made the announcement sitting at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the... Let's see, was he there? No, he wasn't. He was joined by speakerphone. It was the ambassador to the UK who was there. Yeah. Trump said it would give the U.S. companies better market access for beef, ethanol, and other farm products, chemicals, machinery, and industrial products, as well as new opportunities. Said the deal is worth $5 billion, but talks on non-tariff barriers to U.S. meat still are coming and will continue. And of course, Trump took on the Democrats as well because they're gonna poo-poo everything. They already came out with saying, well, of course it was easy to get. It's the UK. I mean, they're our friends. Of course, if you can't do this deal, what's wrong with you? Well, here's Trump on the Democrats. Here's cut number 5. Here he is after announcing the deal with the UK. Cut 5.
And the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. If there's somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. Welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. But it's terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So
there he is.
Howard Lutnick with all the yucks there.
Yeah, well, it's funny. He's funny. But, but if I might, Rick, on this thing with England, I've been saying this for a while, and I think this is why it's so important that he did lead with the UK, and that is the EU. The UK and the EU are going to be point A and point B. He needs the EU. We're going to get India. I think that's going to happen.
They're just waiting for the prime minister and the whoever to sign off on it.
We're going to get Japan. We're going to get South Korea. We're going to get all these other things. But the EU is the big one because the EU matters to China. Big time. England matters to him, but England's sort of the first, shoe to drop there. So it's a big deal.
Actually,
not
India is the first shoe to drop.
I
work with a guy who's from India. He says that is a big one because he knows China very well, trying to kind of muscle in on his home country. Yeah. So he understands the relevance of the China negotiations and where this India deal puts China in a bad place.
Yeah, China and India and the EU were sort of the two shiny objects that I've been looking at. And perfect timing, by the way, because this weekend is, some meetings in Switzerland with China on tariffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Took me a while to try to figure out. I streamed it this morning, and quite frankly, I didn't really get it.
Are you back on the Pope?
This is our 12th largest trading partner, which represents about 3% of trade. So 97% of trade is still on the table. So it took me a while to understand. I mean, this is not really a deal. It sounds more like a framework to me, and a larger deal is still yet quite a ways away to come from what I understood. But it took me a while to even understand what they were announcing this morning, and I said as much in the chat. I think for me, the takeaway is not as rosy as I think you guys are looking at this, because to me the takeaway is Trump's not moving off this. Like, we were told the 10% tariff was kind of a baseline to start negotiations. Now it sounds like the 10% he's not moving off of, and maybe he'll give an exception where he sees something that might work. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't see how this ends up well for the American consumer if 10% is not all of a sudden just a jump-off point. If it's like, oh, yeah, we're not moving off of that no matter who you are, and maybe we'll find an exception for you in here. I'm not as rosy about this deal as you guys seem to be. Why do you think this is such a big deal, Vin?
Because for one thing, especially for our farmers, it opens up the UK market, which has had a lot of restrictions to it and a lot of just red tape for them to sell our products in England and in Europe in general. So it's one of the key points to this whole thing is the removal of those barriers that enable that to happen.
But I looked at this today. According to the U.S. Commerce, last year, the U.S. exported nearly $80 billion worth of goods to the U.K., according to U.S. Commerce data. Meanwhile, the U.K. exported $68 billion worth of goods to the U.S. So the U.S. had a $12 billion surplus with the U.K. last year. So again, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I still maintain it's a big stepping stone for the EU. That's the primary reason why Trump probably led with this. It might have been an easier deal to make, but it's an important deal. We can expand manufacturing. We can expand all sorts of things. I think there's also implications that English companies are going to be setting up factories here, with the exception of like Rolls-Royce, which he made a point to carve out. But it's all about these stepping stones that I think are critical out of the box here, because we have to get the EU and we have to get India to sign. India seems to be a done deal. The EU we have to get. Having England puts a lot of pressure on the EU. And
it puts pressure on others too, because the UK also signed another deal as well just before this one. So they're moving as well, because this is the ripple effect of what Trump has done, right? Is that he's forcing everybody to redo their deals. They're like, wait, we're getting screwed too. Let's address our problems. So I think the net of this is that it's going to be a positive for probably most countries that get in early, at least with us.
Man, already almost hour one done. Sports coming up. More news with Vinnie Mac. Live from Studio 6B. Coming back right after this on a Thursday night.
Yeah, a lot of chatter on this deal. Someone said something interesting. Our agriculture is full of poison. Who wants to buy that? That's a fair point, with the exception of some of the moves that RFK is making to take a lot of those things out of our food and drugs. And a lot of those things are the reasons why a lot of our products can't get exported.
Yeah, because we have things that...
Well, that's part of this deal, too. I saw this reported that American beef and UK beef will face zero tariffs of going into the UK unless it's hormone treated.
Right.
And then it's not going to be allowed.
And that's a good thing. It forces our manufacturers, because they know they're going to be able to sell it, to be compliant to that stuff, which makes our food healthier. And frankly, that's a good thing. It's just positive in my view. It's not all, coming up roses here, But these are the stepping stones to getting stuff done. So it's better than it was, and I think it'll enable other things to happen.
Hey, thanks, Polly Princess, in the YouTube chat. She says, for the first time, Polly Princess G, for the first time, I agree with Delgado. Me! First time!
Pollyanna?
She's been watching since 2015, I'll have you know.
Really?
Yeah, so congratulations.
What does she agree with you on?
She agrees about the Fox News judge. Trump has turned the People's House into Hollywood Squares game show. That's, you know what? Not wrong.
That's ridiculous.
Come on.
Oh, now you hate Polly Princess G? Way to go, Damon. She's only a long-time viewer.
When Polly's in trouble, I am not slow.
I love
Long-time
Polly.
viewer, first-time
I love
caller.
Polly. She's just wrong.
Oh,
That's all.
That hurt.
good.
Pollyanna.
She's turned it into the Hollywood Squares? I mean, come on. That's absurd.
No, it's not. It's actually kind of a funny joke.
No.
It's actually a funny joke. What do we got? Dr. Oz. We got Pete
Dr. Oz,
Hegseth.
Pete
We
Hegseth.
got now the judge.
You got Trump. He
You got
was
Trump
on TV for a
Right.
long time.
He's the center square.
Trump, yeah.
That is true.
TV star.
All right, it's a great point.
He's the OG. He is the OG.
Oh, man. Next thing you got Ryan Seacrest will be out.
Oh my goodness.
God. New Year's Eve will never be the same.
Hey,
Ryan Seacrest.
I'll be back. Oh, the left have like George Clooney and all these other guys sliming around from Hollywood.
Damon isn't being a downer. How am I being a downer? Damon isn't being a downer.
Oh.
He's raising questions, which is a good conversationalist do.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
In other
if you're
words-
jumping up and down for this deal, I mean, you're just being intellectually dishonest. I'm sorry, you are. All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Slick's doing sports, Delgado's doing the news, Aaron and Fran holding it down. You live from Studio 6B. Audience, wherever you're watching, make sure you follow us on our social media at LFS6B, pretty much everywhere. Rumble, Getter, Kick, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at LFS6B Show on Instagram. And, of course, head over to livefromstudio6b.com and sign up to be a member there. I haven't given any points away since last week. Maybe I'll do that tonight as well.
Nice.
6B Front Row, of course, available at the loyalty program over at livefromstudio6b.com, where you can accumulate points to use it on merch at the site. So if you haven't signed up for that, it's absolutely free. Livefromstudio6b.com. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, what's been on your mind?
Yeah, it's been a busy day. Lots of different news, but a couple of things caught my eye, and I wanted to share them with you. First, I want to start off with immigration and the craziness going on with immigration. I actually looked up the meaning of sanctuary cities because I wanted to understand what does Wikipedia say that sanctuary cities are. And to get to that, I want to tell you why I started thinking about it. And I have a clip here. It's cut 13 of a father talking about the anniversary of the death of his child. But he said some very, very interesting things. He happens to be from Illinois. And take a listen to this, and then we'll pick it up.
He was hit and killed riding his motorcycle by an illegal that the state of Maryland admitted they knew was illegal 5 years before he killed my son. And in that 5-year period, they'd had him in jail 5 times. He was convicted of domestic violence and put on probation, and he was illegal. Jimmy would have been 30 years old yesterday. We'll never know where he would be, what he would be doing. Last Tuesday, I was in Maryland to testify at the sentencing hearing because he re-entered again for the 3rd time, and the maximum they could give him was 46 months in jail. It's ridiculous. And for our governor to get on national television and say that he's going to stand up and protect these people is a gut punch to anybody that's lost one. No Angel family's death couldn't be considered an accident. Because if the government had done their job and deported these criminals, they would not have been there to kill our families. It's a hole in your heart that'll never be filled, and it never goes away. I just call on Governor Pritzker to be a true governor and stand by the federal laws and deport every one of them. Every one of them. I don't care if they're 2 or 20 or 80. Send them back. We have a path to citizenship. It's called the naturalization process. Use it.
Yeah.
I thought he said a
Good
couple
luck.
of really good things in there that are just so not only true, but when you have liberal governors like Pritzker talking about sanctuary cities, which to me, the pure idea of sanctuary cities is illegal because you're basically defying federal law. And you're protecting potential criminals. But when he says, there was a drunk driver and there was an accident. Oh, that was just an accident. Well, it wasn't an accident. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. That's not an accident. They're here purposely. And the way he frames, a lot of these thoughts regarding these illegals and how we're because of political reasons trying to protect them when lives are being taken left and right. His testimony really, stuck with me. And I thought it was worth pointing out. And I thought also it's worth really looking into what sanctuary cities really are saying, because they're there. One of the core reasons sanctuary cities exist were to enable people who are here not legally to be able to speak up if they see a crime, if they see something. That was sort of the intent of these, because they didn't want them to feel like they had to hide in the shadows. Then they had to take it to a whole nother level and defy ICE, that this is the core part of it. I certainly have sympathy for someone who's here illegally and sees a crime and is afraid to report it or say something about it. And you want them to be able to do that, but you also want our law enforcement to be able to arrest people and do things. So in my research with sanctuary cities, even through Wikipedia, I couldn't find anything that had a determination to me that this was actually legal. They're making breaking the law and not enforcing the law legal. It makes no sense to me. So I wanted to start off there. And a couple of the things that have caught my eye as well. One big one, this whole thing of Columbia. It's mind-boggling to me how these things occur at universities and all of these people that protested. About 70% of the people arrested were women. About 80% of the people there were from Columbia University, too. It was packed with outsiders, but also from Columbia University. The positive here is, and this is a great indication of how the Trump presidency and his thinking and all the things he's putting in place in the country is having an effect. Because a year ago, they would not have been arrested. This protest would be going on for a couple of weeks. The school, who's in the middle of finals, would not be able to do that. The faculties and all the administrators would have enabled and allowed it. And now they simply can't. They shut them down. They arrested them. We'll see if they actually, go to jail. But I see a shift occurring in that, similar to how I see a shift starting to occur in this whole immigration nonsense. And I thought the two stories kind of tie together because they're really about protecting bad people in both instances. You have immigrants here who are committing crimes and we're trying to round them up and get rid of them. As simple as that. Yet they're being protected by these governors and so on. And then you've got protesters who are hating Jews and they're being protected. Not anymore. And I thought it was a good inflection point on both stories to where people are actually starting to speak out in liberal cities like New York City and like Chicago and like Illinois in general. They're speaking out now against their leadership. And if there's any Trump effect that he's had on anything, it's this. So, Dame, those are the two things that I've been stirring around today, amongst others. We'll save them for the next segment.
Okay, very good. 7 minutes till the hour. Vinnie Mac, we'll do some more with. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. As we wrap up hour one, LFS6B is the promo code to use if you shop at MyPillow. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, big the NBA action. The Warriors and Timberwolves underway in Minnesota. Timberwolves are up 13-5 against the Steph Curry-less Warriors. Curry's going to be out for the week now, so 5:07 to go there in the first. And we had golf earlier today. The Truist Championship kicked off round one. The Philadelphia Cricket Club in Wissahickon. This is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, $20 million purse. And Keith Mitchell, check that, shot a 9 under. And Denny McCarthy right behind him with an 8 under. We'll keep you up to date with that and give you a full update on that Monday. Jamel Hill compares allowing men to compete in women's sports to MLK's civil rights crusade. This is Warner Todd Houston and Breitbart. Former ESPN talker Jamel Hill is comparing the woke battle to force transgender athletes into women's sports to the epic campaign for civil rights for minorities. Hill appeared on CNN's Newsnight with Abby Phillip on Tuesday and claimed that America's history of racism can be compared to the current lack of support for transgender athletes. The Atlantic writer wrote that they claimed that acting to ban trans people could act as a gateway to oppressing other minorities. There's a few things that bother me about this, and mostly it was the language of the policy, right? When reading some of these words, transgender people as inherently untruthful, undisciplined, dishonorable, that's like a very weighty thing to say about people who are courageously deciding to protect this country. The other problem, Scott, is that it's never enough. It's bathrooms today, it's sports tomorrow, it's the military today, Hill said. During the discussion, CNN's Scott Jennings noted that 80% of Americans oppose allowing men who identify as women to compete in women's sports. However, this majority opinion did not impress Hill. The majority used to believe that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a threat, somebody that was not a good American, Hill exclaimed. The majority of people used to be against civil rights. Were they right? No, they weren't. So she's trying to draw a comparison to MLK's civil rights movement to allowing men to be in women's sports.
That's the most ridiculous comparison.
Yeah, I had to get that in there.
Did you see Charles Barkley today?
I did.
Yeah.
I said it.
All right, wrap on hour 1, hour 2. Coming up live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
You saw my message about our friend Travis?
Yeah.
He walks to pick up his father. He hears my voice, in the background. He's like, what's he doing? He's watching live from Studio 6B.
Is Vin in the house?
Yeah, this is a friend of mine from California who Damon knows as well, just visiting his dad. And there we are.
Is he still your friend, or is he one of those that excommunicated you from
we
the
broke
group?
up. We're seeing other people now.
Okay.
It's crazy. No, he's a good friend, and he gets it. He understands. He's one of the few Californians that I know that I've actually been able to continue a relationship with.
You need new friends.
That's funny. That's our big audience, too, California.
I know.
They love the
Huge.
show. See, somebody in California watching the show. Wow.
He knows all the ones that don't watch us.
I never knew. I never knew.
Who knew?
I had no idea that they were friends of Newscom. Did you see Trump talking about Newscom when he had who do you have in there in the office that I was talking with? Was it not the English, not the guy from the UK? The Canadian Prime Minister. He kept calling him Newscom. And I could see the Canadian Prime Minister wanted nothing to do with that. Oh, it was so funny. He's the center square. He's like the Paul Lynn of the Hollywood square.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
now you're talking.
Yeah.
Don't want to be the Charles Nelson Riley of the group, though. Now that's woo.
Charles Nelson Riley. I think of Charles Nelson. That was such a funny show back in the day.
Oh, my God. That show was hilarious. I loved it.
They were pretty crude too. It was pretty funny.
They were. They got away with
They
it.
had
Today,
a
forget
lot
about
of
it.
stuff.
People will be in therapy.
Saw someone from Fontana, California. Charlie Parker. Thanks, man.
Charlie
Wow.
Parker.
Charlie, I love the way you play the sax.
Yeah, I was gonna
Charlie
say.
Parker.
Lori
huh?
Miller says, Vin, I'm in California on YouTube.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. We
Yeah,
have a big
be her
break.
There's a lot.
You
Stop being
years
friends with all
ago.
the liberals.
It's
That
our
was a
number
big
one
part of your
fan base.
audience.
Number one
right?
viewing audience
Yeah.
is California.
It's amazing.
Hey, Brent Weiss. Is it Brent Weiss? No, Brent Wells. Is Brent Wells? Sorry. I don't have my glasses on, Brent. Apologize about that.
Brent Musburger's in there.
That's the thing about California. There's a lot of people in California that do feel the way we do and see the world with the way we do. But the amount of peer pressure within the, some of those core cities, San Francisco and LA, they drive the vote. Unfortunately, not in a positive way. They're blind minions just voting how they're told to vote.
Did you see what's going on with they're trying to include the 16, 17-year-old
All right, 9 o'clock live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, hour 2. Glad you're in. Slick Rick's going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Vinnie Mac's going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Wanted to get to this last night, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Reconciliation or capitulation? Trump's final go for broke play. What's it going to be for the Republicans? And before I get to that, let me lead with this to give you an idea of where we are with this party. This tonight came out in Notice, which I am not familiar with, notice.org. Headline, GOP moderates begin to voice opposition to defunding Planned Parenthood in reconciliation. As Republicans remain divided over how to make major cuts to federal spending, defunding Planned Parenthood may become another sticking point. No, this is not the Babylon Bee. Oh, no. This is not. This is real. Moderate Republicans will likely be anti-abortion advocates' biggest hurdle in their mission to ban federal funding from Planned Parenthood in the reconciliation package. And some are already voicing their opposition. Defunding Planned Parenthood was brought up briefly in a Tuesday evening closed-door meeting between Speaker Mike Johnson, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, and some moderate Republicans, where they were discussing potential Medicaid cuts, according to two sources familiar with the matter. One of the sources says that Representative Mike Lawler, Brian Fitzpatrick, and Jen Kiggins were among the moderate Republicans who made it clear to the House GOP leadership that they oppose adding a measure to cut federal funding to Planned Parenthood in the reconciliation bill. When Notice asked whether defunding Planned Parenthood or other abortion providers was discussed in the meeting, Johnson demurred, saying while leaving his office that it was not on our agenda. Other Republicans were also cautious leaving the meeting when asked about the topic. Quote, that was sort of a closed-door discussion. I'm not going to get into that now, said Representative Jeff Van Drew. He told reporters. There's a real concern among some Republicans that leadership will still add defunding Planned Parenthood language to the reconciliation bill, even after Tuesday's discussion, the other source told Notice. At the annual gala of the anti-abortion group, Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, last week, Johnson pledged that the reconciliation bill is going to redirect funds away from big abortion, quote unquote. But with a razor-thin majority in the House, the factions already fighting over major provisions like Medicaid, food assistance, and taxes, Johnson risks alienating even more moderate members if he ultimately includes the provision to defund Planned Parenthood. We need simplicity in the bill, Fitzpatrick said. I think there's other policy areas we need to focus on. Yes, the killing of young children is not high on the list for Mr. Fitzpatrick, I guess.
No.
Congresswoman Kiggins is proudly pro-life and firmly opposes any federal funding for abortion, the spokesman said. She attended a closed-door policy discussion with the House leadership and Republican colleagues focused on Medicaid reform with broader reconciliation process. Well, let me just stop there and talk to you about Medicaid expansion. Johnson is taking off the table, seemingly, in the reconciliation big, beautiful bill that we're hearing about. Johnson is taking out the idea of rolling back the expansion that Obama did and the expansion that Biden did. And as a matter of fact, they're looking to codify those extensions. So we're codifying Obama and Biden expansion before we're even thinking about codifying Trump's tax cuts. And we're not going to defund Planned Parenthood because that's not on the agenda either. So that's kind of set the table for where we are with the Republican Party going into the reconciliation bill. Lawler told Notice on Tuesday morning that he has yet to see specific language on the matter, but added that fundamentally, obviously, from the standpoint of providing health care to women, I'm not taking away people's health care. This is a Republican speaking. This is what they think. This is what he thinks the majority of the money is going towards, I guess. Obviously, Planned Parenthood does provide a lot of services outside of abortion-related services. So I have to see what they're proposing, Lawler said.
Let's be real. The most what they do is abortion. That's like their number one thing.
It's not even close.
Right.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Yep.
It's like 90-10. Okay, give them the 10. There you go.
Yeah.
There's a solution. It's a good thing. Planned Parenthood actually has an important role, in helping people, through, having children and all the things you need to go through. Abortion, however, is what they stand on completely.
Right. And what's crazy is that it's not even in the name, right? Planned Parenthood, it's like, hey, we need help, or I need help because I'm about to have a kid and I don't know what to do. How should I have, I don't know how to care for this. That's you take that from the name, right? You take it from the name. It's like
unplanned pregnancy.
Right. How do I do this to make sure that everything is as healthy as possible and I get through it and I don't have to worry about postpartum and blah, 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 and feeding and knowing how to nourish and all that stuff.
No, those are
Learn to swaddle. I need to learn to swaddle. But no, what do they focus on? Not being a parent. That's not parent. When you kill your child in your stomach, that means you're not a parent. Right? You don't want to be a parent. That's not Planned Parenthood. That's planned murder.
It's unplanned pregnancy. And there's also this body part thing that they kind of got caught doing.
Yeah.
Which,
which is kind of disgusting.
Greed,
and
it's vile. It's disgusting. The whole premise of it is vile and disgusting. The entire premise.
Yeah.
And if they're going to take a position here in the House and the Senate, or even President Trump, it is to redefine Planned Parenthood to do what they do and fund that and leave the rest out of it. Let the states deal with it.
You know what? Do what they do. When some of these companies get too big, they have to break them up, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to break it up because it's becoming a monopoly, what have you. Okay, so you know what? Divide up Planned Parenthood. Let's go with Planned Parenthood here, where we talk about, how you get through the 9 months and what happens after the birth and how you can, best raise your child and blah, blah, the planning and the parenthood part. And on the other side, the other company could be killing your unborn child. Let's just call it that. And if you want to do that, then that needs separate funding.
Yeah, but
because nobody's going to vote for that.
Our money,
right?
Our tax money, which Doge has pulled out left and right of things that it's a waste. Our tax money should not go for abortions.
No.
End of story. There are ways to go get an abortion. You go to the state, live in a state where they give them or do them, and go do your thing. But our tax money should not go to funding that at all.
Or here's a novel idea: don't have unprotected sex, you dope. If you don't want the problem of having to get pregnant and then having to deal with it, hey, either abstain, that's free, or grab one of those free condoms they always like to hand out wherever you go.
Thank you, Dr. Rick.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm spitballing.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah. So now on to the reconciliation and why Horowitz says it's either, go big or bust here for the Republicans. And we've talked about living in this compressed calendar and the midterms upon us. By the way, I saw something today in Bloomberg that said Trump is thinking about raising taxes on everybody. I thought this has to be fake news.
That's Bloomberg.
Raising taxes on anyone who makes $2.5 million or more. Did you see this?
I heard this too, by the way.
It's got to be fake, right?
I do. I think it's fake. I haven't heard him repeat it.
That's political suicide.
Yeah.
Raising taxes on anybody. As a Republican, as a conservative party with the majorities going into the midterms, raising taxes, even on people who make $2.5 million or more, which, by the way, after taxes, I mean, you're not worried about where your next meal's coming from, but it's not like you're making $100 million.
Like most things that happened with Trump, he might have made an off-the-cuff comment, a joke, or some comment about something, and they took that as what they just printed here, like he's going to raise taxes on people making $2 million.
It can't be real.
Yeah.
There's no way that could be real.
Well, I haven't seen it again.
Okay, good. So Horowitz says Trump can't deport millions unless Republicans strip federal courts of power and cut off legal challenges. The budget reconciliation bill is the president's only real last chance to act. Sovereignty may have won the Kentucky Derby, but if it's going to win in Washington, Republicans need to stop stalling and start delivering. Many of us backed Donald Trump in 2024 with a clear, urgent checklist of national priorities. None matter more than mass deportations. Only one real legislative vehicle remains to force that issue, and that, of course, is budget reconciliation. And, well, I just got signed out, so I can't read the rest, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And then this is it. And the Republicans have got to either tackle this with a vengeance or continue to look like a party that's just inept, that's fighting over Planned Parenthood.
And the thing with this particular issue is it's not just an issue. Like, there are issues that we deal with, keeping getting our tax breaks to continue, no tax on tips, all the various other things that we're talking about, how we're going to fund Medicaid, how we're going to fund Planned Parenthood or not fund them, all these things. These are issues, they have to be tackled. The mass importation that the Biden administration did for people coming into our country is not just an issue. It is a critical thing to make sure we have the authority to get rid of all of them, because they're here for a very political reason and a very dangerous reason for our country. If you like what you hear from the Democrats right now, if you liked what Kamala Harris had to say, if you like what Biden has to say on his, senior tour, if you like all of that stuff, well, they're going to enable it all to happen. And this, so to me, this is beyond an issue like to fight about. It's beyond one of these things with a Republicans horse trade or any of this stuff. They're already trying to get a legislation through to give them amnesty. There was a proposal already on the floor to give them all amnesty now. There's proposals to let them vote. This changes the landscape of our country completely and makes people like us, almost powerless because they've overwhelmed us with so many people. So I think this thing, Damon, in this whole reconciliation package, it just goes, it's the number one thing.
It's the only thing.
And dealing with these judges and dealing with all the nonsense that they've been faced, someone has to take a stand somewhere. If the House and Senate can't get it to happen because they're all weak and they all have their other interests, then Trump has to take drastic measures. And some of those drastic measures may be just defying judges.
Well, his other point is, let's be blunt about this. Republicans aren't going to do anything to cut spending. The only debate left on this is how much debt they're going to add. So it really leaves this as the only other major topic that we voted on and put Trump in there for is this. And that's the only other thing they can really try to tackle, the judicial tyranny and getting 12 million, which is not going to happen, but getting as many people as possible out of the country.
Yep.
That's what's left to deal with. All right, we'll talk more about it. Plus, we'll do sports news all coming up live from Studio 6B right after this.
They're up 2-0.
I think Rumble's back up. I think we got it fixed.
Yeah, there was a loose wire.
That was a glitch.
I believe.
Yeah, I think it's back up.
It was a copper
We
wire.
fixed the glitch. What's that from Office Space?
So
How'd you fix
Copper
it?
wire that was affecting Newark and Rumble.
So let me just say something on our social here.
Rumblings,
Mallory Klondike, Mallory Klondike. She posted something about the Hollywood Squares and Paul Lynde, and I repeated that. So I don't want to take credit for that. Mallory, that was your joke. And you are hereby getting credit right here, live on Studio 6B.
Yo, Mallory.
What did Mallory say?
Mallory, yeah, she made some funny comments about Paul Lynde and Hollywood Squares and so on. And I picked up a couple of them while I was watching the chat and repeated them.
Nice.
Thank you. And so I don't want to. I don't
plagiarized her, in other words.
I plagiarized her. Her attorney then contacted me, and it's all settled now. We're settling out of court. So I owed Molly that.
PJ on X says, I never hear any reporters on RAV or anywhere talk about weather engineering.
What are you talking about?
We were talking about it last week.
And last week, Vinny on LFSXB mentioned chemtrails. I don't think he said too much, but I was glad to hear someone talking about it on TV.
Have they met Delgado and Paul?
I mean...
I was talking about slicks.
Thank you for joining the show.
Vin has said the least amount about that. I mean, Paul and Delgado have given dissertations on it.
Yeah, they could give a whole seminar for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I think they filled 30 minutes straight last week on it.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Fran fell asleep during it.
Well, he got sprayed. We sprayed him.
Talking chemtrails about my cologne or chemtrails about the sky? Which one?
I mean, does that person seriously watch the show? I mean, come on.
I think Florida just passed a law too on
they did
cloud seeding.
Just happened. Well, because in Florida they actually blamed these last 2 hurricanes on some of that stuff happening.
Yes, I've been hearing
because they were so extraordinary.
I heard that too. North Carolina too. I think they were blaming the hurricane on it as well.
I blame the hurricane on North Carolina.
So, yeah. Anybody thought it was
David, you have reads here.
contrails? It's
hello,
right. Roseanne Barr.
Roseanne Barr? She's in?
Is she the guest?
May as well be.
Rob Jackson, who is representing Mallory, obviously forced me to make that concession of taking her joke. Thank you.
I sound like the blues. It's a new day in America and a new administration in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of excitement and optimism about the future. But the reality is there's a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The truth is that forces that are responsible for breaking our healthcare system aren't going to simply go away. The challenges our system faces won't disappear overnight. Now more than ever, you need to be prepared. And that's, of course, where the Wellness Company comes in. Their doctors are medical professionals that you can trust, and their line of prescription medical kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. Whether it's the medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in all the proper use. From the flu to strep throat, from COVID to bird flu, from a trip to the beach to a trip overseas, the Wellness Company has a prescription kit designed to keep you and your family safe. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part, protect the health of you and your family. Go to twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice today in order. That's twc.health/voice. Use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10%. Go to twc.health/voice. Well, tax day may have passed, but for millions of Americans, the real trouble is just beginning. If you've missed the April 15th deadline, you still owe back taxes. The IRS is ramping up enforcement. Every day you wait could make things worse. With over 5,000 new tax liens filed daily and tools like property seizures, bank levies, and wage garnishments, the IRS is applying pressure at levels we haven't seen in years. Increased administrative scrutiny means collections are moving fast. The good news, well, there's still time for Tax Network USA to help you. Self-employed or a business owner, even if your books are a mess, they've got you covered. Tax Network USA specializes in cleaning up financial chaos and getting you back on track, and they'll do it fast. Even after the deadline, it's not too late to regain control. Your consultation is completely free, and acting now could stop penalties, threatening letters, and surprise levies before they escalate. Here's what you do. Call 1-800-905-8000. Call 1-800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/RAV. tnusa.com/RAV. You may have missed the April 15th deadline, but you haven't run out of options. Let Tax Network USA help before the IRS makes the next move. All right, 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS 6B is the promo code to use. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D, back to the NHL scoreboard. The Capitals have now gone up 2-0 in the East second round, Game 2. They really need this win tonight as Carolina won the first game on the Capitals ice. So down in D.C., 2-0. Capitals are up 11 to go there in the third, looking to close that one out. Oilers and Golden Knights, 9:30 puck drop coming up in just a few minutes. And in the NBA, well, so far the spread looks like it's holding. Timberwolves lead the Warriors right now 33-19, 7:46 to go in the second quarter. West semifinals, Game 2. Golden State leads that series 1-0. And as we learned last night, if a road team wins the first two games, they are 95.7% chance of winning the series. So very important that the Warriors do not beat the Timberwolves tonight. So, and the Warriors are playing without Seth Curry, so that definitely impacts them. They're 11.5-point underdogs there. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on that. Fox News, yep, Stephen A. Smith has no shot to become president, Charles Barkley says. Smith has not closed the door on running for president.
Wait, what did he say?
He says he has no shot to become president, Charles Barkley. He says, but Smith hasn't closed the door yet, Big D. Now, come on.
He's not going to close the door now.
Yep, Ryan Canafeld of Fox News reporting. Charles Barkley does not believe ESPN host Stephen A. Smith has a shot at becoming president. Barkley, 62, responded emphatically when asked about Smith's chance of one day sitting in the Oval Office. Hell no! Come on, stop it, Barkley said during a recent appearance on Outkick's Don't At Me with Dan Dakic. He said, hey, Dan, knock it off now. Stop it. Come on, man. Don't do that, Barkley said. Smith is a friend of his and implored him to stop entertaining the possibility of running for president. The Basketball Hall of Famer thinks Smith is on TV too much and that people could get sick of him. I was in the studio last night.
People are already sick of him.
We already are, yeah.
I was like, yeah. I was in the studio last night, and I saw he was going to be on Law and Order tonight. I mean, he's already on General Hospital. Now he's going to be on Law and Order tonight. And I was just laughing. I was like, yo, man, you are starting to be too much right now, Barkley said. Like, you're going to be on CNN. You're going to be on Fox and Friends. Now you're on General Hospital. Now you're on Law and Order. I'm like, yo, man, knock it off. Stop being every TV show, because at some point people are going to get sick of you, and you are going to be like, yeah, I probably did too much. But once you do too much, it's too late, and people don't take you serious. And I think he's got to be careful in that aspect. Barkley said he wants to be on TV less and less because less is more. So I don't see Stephen A. getting that, Big D.
Getting what?
Getting a nod for presidency. You really think they're gonna run him? No way.
Well, I mean, if the choice is AOC or Jasmine Crockett or Stephen A. Smith, I got Stephen A.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's the only one pontificating about the craziness of the left.
Right.
He's not saying I'm conservative and I want all these things. He's basically saying you guys are out of your mind.
He does. He calls him out.
So he's going to get this. This is what the Democrats need, frankly.
The moderate play.
He's going to get some street cred.
He was on Jake Tapper last
Center
Sunday,
left.
and quite frankly, filleted the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
When he asked him, "Do you think he gets support?" He said, "Well, I don't want their support." He said, "I do not align myself with this party and the way they've conducted themselves." Yep. Over a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. He said, so for me, he said, I wouldn't want their support right now unless I think he actually said they'd have to burn it to the ground and start over for me to want their support, even if I did run.
Yeah, well.
You know, he keeps this up, Trump's going to pick him for something.
It could be. But I got to tell you, he is notoriously known to troll Dallas
Top right
Cowboy
square,
fans.
incoming.
Yep. You know what? He trolls the Cowboy fans. After they lose, he's there with a big cigar, his black hat, and his living room going, you Dallas fans, you never learn. You never learn about them damn Cowboys and Jerry. He always does that every time the Cowboys lose. So I'm certainly not any fan of him, that's for sure.
Well, that's because he used to do with Skip, so that's why he started that, because he hates the Cowboys like all of us do because of Skip and you. So
yeah, we're terrible. And ex-NFL player Kevin Ware Jr. gets 30 years for murdering girlfriend.
Wow.
Warner Todd Houston of Breitbart. Ex-NFL player Kevin Ware Jr. has been sentenced to a 30-year prison term for murdering his girlfriend and then setting her corpse corpse on fire.
Oh.
Ware, who had a very
Sounds
short
like a nice
NFL
guy.
career playing for the Washington Redskins and San Francisco 49ers from 2003 to 2004, reached a deal with prosecutors on Wednesday after he pleaded guilty to the 2021 murder, the New York Post reported. Taylor Pomaski, 29, disappeared in April of 21 in Houston, Texas. Her charred body was later found in a ditch. Officials testified that Ware had cut her with a knife, hit her with a blunt object, strangled her, and then burned her corpse. People who knew Pomaski testified that she had confided in them that she was afraid of Ware and that he was abusive. So Ware was an NFL washout and spent one season with the Redskins and played in 11 games in 2003. He was then signed by the Niners, but only played in 5 games. Before his blip in the NFL, Ware played for Klein Oak High School in Harris County, Texas, and then attended the University of Washington. So 30 years for that former NFL player. Most people never heard of him because he probably just barely had a cup of coffee in the NFL. But
Little
just the
Aaron
same
Hernandez
30
action
years.
over there. Huh,
Yeah,
this
right.
guy?
Another craziness. And that's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. Let's just stay on that for 1 second to Stephen A. I mean, kind of half joking about Stephen A., but realistically, when you look out to 2028, Delgado, I'll start with you. I mean, you hear about AOC, you hear about Newsom. Who are they going to run?
I don't know.
Well, how is Stephen A. not a
Not viable.
viable,
Yeah.
given who else they have? Who are they going to run? They're going to run AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Gavin Newsom?
You gonna try Bernie again?
Or are they going to go with the governor of Pennsylvania now? Maybe him.
Yeah, they could go with him.
Pritzker and Walls.
Salad Dodger? He's not. I mean, he's not viable, is he?
The guy from Pennsylvania, the governor of Pennsylvania.
Josh Shapiro is probably viable.
He's got a shot.
And I think the guy from Maryland is viable, not for the top of the ticket, but to run with. Of course, they'll check the box of being an African American. Wes, not Wes Welker. He played for the Patriots, but Wes somebody. Wes Moore.
Was a black.
I would look forward to the Democrat debates with Stephen A. Imagine that.
Watch how when they start destroying him.
Yeah,
in the
they'll
media.
come after him. All
Like
of a sudden,
Fetterman.
you'll see he's got a rape charge. All of a sudden, show
He's
up.
got a silver tongue. That's
Yeah.
what he's got.
All of a sudden, the media is going to pick up some crazy story like Fetterman.
Yep. And they'll do the wrap-up smear.
All right, live from Studio 6B. More news coming up right after this.
The most popular team in the country.
You can't suck that bad
They
as a
sure
team
they
and be
still
called
are.
American team. You just can't.
They had their
They're the
moment.
most popular team in the
They're not the
NFL.
most
Stop
I know,
it.
but you can't suck that bad for so many years and be called
Doesn't-
America's team.
Apparently they could.
How much
Most-
merchandise do they
Can't
sell?
have
It's not even
Rick,
close to what
they
the
are
Yankees
the most.
put out.
They're the most valued team.
The
in
Yankees put out
sports.
way more merchandise. They're America's
worth
team.
more than the Yankees.
When you look at the Yankees,
they're worth about
though,
$1 billion
the Yankees are America's team,
Right.
Because they win.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
baseball. You know, but
Yeah, but I mean, they
Cowboys
win.
are the most valued team.
Think about it.
Champions.
I think they're
you
worth
could
$10
go
billion.
to any country in the world and somebody will have a Yankee hat on. How many
I mean,
people
after
are
the
going to
Knicks
be wearing?
win the NBA title, they're
Yeah.
going to be America's team this
Exactly.
year. Not the Dallas Cowboys cannot be America's
my
team.
goodness.
You have, I'm imploring you to give up the name here on the show.
No way. if they
For
win,
the organization. I'll
your-
call Jerry and tell
your
him that
heads
you've
will
done it
explode.
for him.
And definitely not
Jerry.
the 76ers.
I'm at the strip club. Big D, please leave a message. I'm at the strip club right now, making it rain.
You're not America's team anymore.
It's
Make it happen,
raining.
Slick.
It's raining.
I mean, the 76ers could never be considered America's team either.
They
I mean,
can't-
they're
no,
terrible.
they're terrible.
I'm demanding that you. I'm banning you from using that language on the show.
Yeah.
What, America's team?
Yeah, you can't call them that on here.
I don't call them that anymore.
We'll have to beep it out.
And if you start your own sports show, you're not going to be allowed to say it on there either.
We're going to call that America's Stream if I start my own sports show. How's that? Come on, Big D. There you go.
Oh, God.
Come on. Come on. Sound like the Blues right there. That sounds like the Blues for that team. Man, oh man, 30 years.
America's
Can't believe
team.
it.
Get out of here.
That's the. Okay, don't blame me. Blame NFL Films.
That's in the Roger
Sable.
Staubach days, I believe.
That was Captain America. That was his nickname.
That was that his nickname?
Sure. Absolutely. Look it up.
Well, a YouGov poll for Q1 of
Captain
2025 says the most popular NFL team is the Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
Get
they're
outta
America's team.
I did not know that.
That sounds like a fish story.
South
Come on.
Beach.
That story's a little fishy.
Yeah, definitely. Come on.
I find that hard to believe.
Get out of the pool, will you? You're getting waterlogged there.
I think it's Fran. I think you've done some great research there.
The Cowboys are in 7th in that poll.
7.
Oh, that
yeah.
poll.
Who else
That sounds like one of those Delgado polls.
Right
else
above
is
the
before
Jets.
Where was
Who
that
else
taken?
is before
In
them? Give me the other
Wissahickon?
6.
They're just above the Jets, though.
They're just above the Jets, right under the Patriots
Yeah,
and the
that's
Steelers.
some poll. Let me tell you.
Patriots, Steelers, Jets, Dolphins. Who else?
35 respondents.
Bears.
The Bears.
I think 7th is still too high.
Bears and Eagles are above them.
Put a 1 in front of that 7. I think it's a little more accurate. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night.
I hope the mics were off.
We're being
Yeah.
we're being fact checked here.
By who?
In the Rumble chat, dolphins are not fish.
That's right. They're
They're
mammals.
not. They're mammals.
Thank you.
Well,
They
people
are.
were not watching in the break if they're listening on 103.9 LI News or watching on Real America's Voice, so they don't know. During the break, we were talking about the Cowboys using the term still America's team, which is a joke because they're not America's team. They're America's losers.
It's
because
vomit-inducing.
They can't win anything.
I know.
So, and then Fran said there's a poll out that they're
Oh, come on.
they're
with
like the
this poll.
7th most
Get outta
popular
here.
team, and the Dolphins are the most popular
Yeah.
team, which I don't know. That story sounds a little fishy, but
I know. Well, it's not a fish, Big D. It's a mammal.
yeah. So it's you're
Right,
saying they
exactly.
say it's not a fish.
It's not a fish.
No,
Right.
Absolutely.
I could buy a vowel if I could
That's
from
famous.
someone, please.
I
Thank
didn't know
you.
there'd be so much
It's Finnish.
studying here.
It's a finish.
Yeah, it's the sweetest fish.
All right, let's do some news. 31 past the hour, and here with the news. Brought to you by our friends at EternalLifeCoin.com is Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
I don't know. I didn't know we would be doing news here.
Oh, you don't want to do news?
No, I'm kidding. Joe Biden was out and about today.
Who?
Oh my goodness! Yes, he
Uncle
was on.
Joe?
He was on the BBC doing their interview.
Yeah.
And now he showed up on The View. Here is Joe. Making his appearance here. Cut number 7. Here is Joe on The View. In the middle of being unable to answer a question, getting saved by, of course, his wife Jill. Check it out for yourself. Cut number 7.
I hope you have the question here because that's what makes
Yes.
this funny.
Yeah. Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. In the final year of your presidency, what is your response to these allegations,
having
or
problems.
are these sources wrong?
Okay, tell
They
us.
are
Joe.
wrong. There's nothing to sustain that. Number one.
Except the
Number
next
two,
2 minutes.
Except
think
the
of
drool
what
coming out of his
we were
mouth.
left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection when I started. Not since the Civil War. We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit, ended up over 1 million people dying. 1 million people dying. And we're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And one of the things that well, I'm
Well, and Alyssa, one of the
Here's the
things
save.
I think is that the people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us. And they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at
Take off
night
his
he would
pajamas.
He's gone.
He'd take off
He
his
is
pajamas.
gone.
He'd
The question was,
walk around the White House naked.
Yeah, man.
are the books right that in the last year you were a drooling fool?
Nano, no, I don't know.
That would have been the perfect answer.
That's the answer.
That's the answer. It would have taken 2 seconds.
That's the only answer that fits.
Yes.
Because anything you said had nothing to do with that question about insurrection and COVID and
people and Civil War.
I thought he was going to fall asleep in the middle of that answer. Just, I was.
I thought he was going to fall asleep in the middle of the question.
Yeah, not even the answer.
Here he is again, still on The View. Cut number 8. Yes, you got to have more. You got to have more than just one Joe.
Get the bomb ready, Aaron.
Cut number 8 on what he thinks would have happened if he would have stayed in the race. Cut number 8. Check it out.
Mr. President, you had previously said that you thought that you would have won. Since then, Donald Trump won all the battleground states and made inroads with almost every major demographic, from working class voters to Hispanic men to black men. Knowing what you know now, do you think you would have beat him?
Yeah, he still got 7 million fewer votes.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people
What does
didn't
that
show
tell
up.
you?
Number one. Number 2,
I just made in my pants.
they're very close in those toss-up states. It was it wasn't a slam dunk, and look,
the Buffalo Bills were close too.
Every
to the
time
Super
I've been
Bowl.
on the show,
Guess who took home the ring?
I've been fortunate to be on more than once. Thanks for having me. Is that we talk? You guys don't focus on as much, and I think it's good on polling numbers. But let me put it this way: he's had the worst 100 days any president's ever had.
Yeah, that's a fact.
They should change the name of this show. Big game.
Who's that? Sunny? Not so sunny host, and that's a fact.
Either that or that. It was either Sunny or Joy. I'm not
that's
sure.
a fact. All right.
They should change the name of the show to The Viewing.
The moronic yentas, that's what it should be called.
It's
Yes,
The Viewing,
exactly.
not The View.
Pay your respects to the corpse known as
Not
Joe
reposing
Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was real close. It was kind of close, and he won all of them, Joe. I mean, give me a God.
right.
He basically just called us all racist.
Calculus.
Yeah, it's not calculus.
What'd you say, Vin?
He basically called us racist and anti-women because he said Carmela as a woman and a woman of color or mixed color.
Right.
Those are the 2 reasons she didn't win. This is what he said this on The View.
Yeah.
Basically saying if you voted against her, you obviously are racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly what the Democrats were saying the whole time leading up to the
Come on, man.
leading up to the election. Anyway, here's the final piece talking about Joe Biden.
Oh, thank God. And one more.
Actually,
okay.
it goes back
Wait,
to
there's
something I've been saying
Yeah.
for the last six months or so about Joe Biden and Biden Inc. coming from reporter Mark Halperin.
Ooh, I like Mark.
Who basically says, he's echoed what I've said in the past, that the reason why this guy is out now is because Biden Inc. is dried up. Here's cut number 10. Check it out for yourself. Cut 10. Go.
11 o'clock this morning, the Bidens are live on The View here in Gotham City. There's a story in Politico today that says they've hired the former Pentagon spokesperson to manage the Biden comeback. I'm paraphrasing kind of that Joe Biden wants to be out there. The 100 days is over. He wants to be prepared for the books that are coming out that will be critical of him. He wants to speak out against Donald Trump. He wants to defend his reputation. Politico is also reporting that the audio of the special counsel Hur of his interview with Joe Biden that caused her to judge Biden an elderly man with a poor memory, that the Trump administration is going to release that audio and that Biden is gearing up to fight back on all fronts. Now, you could say, as we've discussed, Biden's doing this to fight back, or Biden's doing this for his reputation. I talked to someone very familiar with the Bidens, and I think they've pointed out something that I'm going to say now that, to me, is the explanation, or at least part of the explanation, which is Biden Inc. has collapsed. All those Biden grandkids had a lavish lifestyle, which they very much liked. Hunter made hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Joe, as a former president, is not in a position to get the same kind of paid speeches, corporate boards, book deal. Biden Inc. needs a source of revenue. And Hunter does, even though he was pardoned and he's not going to prison, Hunter does not have great earning capacity. And you look at the rest of the family.
Wait. The paintings aren't worth a lot?
No, the paintings are not worth a lot.
What are you talking about?
So what I'm positing for you guys to weigh in on, Dan first, is my source right? Is what at least part of this is about, is the reality that Biden Inc., the trough is empty. The spigot has shut down. They need a way to get back in the game to make big money, to have the grandchildren fed and clothed and flown first class, etc.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying months ago.
I mean, it might be like shut down moving forward, but it's not like they don't have tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. The Bidens. What are you kidding me? Might be stashed in Chinese yuan somewhere. But what are you talking about?
Think about it, that they don't have a source of income anymore. USAID has been cut out, right? You've got all the influence that he could have had is now gone. He doesn't have intelligence briefings anymore. He doesn't have clearance anymore. He doesn't have anything anymore. He's shut out. They have closed the spigot on the Biden crime family, and it couldn't happen to a nicer group of scumbags.
Yep, the artist Hunter got.
As far as I'm concerned,
he's not a bankable speaker either.
No, he can't speak.
Bankable.
Wow, man, you are.
Talk about Babar was an elephant, I believe. Yes,
he's not a bankable speaker. You're kidding.
He's not a bankable
What
speaker.
gave it away? He couldn't link a subject and a predicate together at gunpoint.
Yeah, and we're here talking about what, honey?
In other news, water is wet.
Yeah, not a bankable speaker.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're. I mean, you think they're broke?
I think they're probably going to be running out of money very soon. You think they have money just sitting around for 5 houses? No, it's constant. When you live when you're used to a certain amount of money, I'm sure it's coming in and it's going out. Look at what do you call it? Hunter Biden would complain. He's got to give half to his father. Well, guess what? That half is now not going to his father, and his father doesn't have anything coming in either.
Maybe he'll sell a painting because his paintings were worth a lot of money when he was in office.
He might have to sell that Corvette.
Why doesn't Joe go do the commercials for visiting angels? Well, they'll probably hire him. Do a commercial or two.
Sure,
he could do the Maloney commercials.
He definitely could do those.
He could be one of the people in
under Damon's direction.
Okay, Joe, play dead. Wow, you're doing really good. That's really effective.
I was going to say don't move, but you got that down.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right, Vinnie Mac, what else is on your mind?
Well, first I want to follow up on a subject I was talking about on Tuesday, which was anybody who had the COVID vaccine is now facing all sorts of health risks. Are there remedies that are out there? And I want to give a shout out to Sherry Merrill, who sent me a bunch of information of all sorts of remedies to fight if you had the vaccine, any of the vaccines, frankly, the Pfizer one especially, to fight any of the side effects that are there. They have a lot of remedies out there that you can take. And Sherry sent me those, and I'm happy to post them on our website or somewhere if anybody wants to take a look at that. I just wanted to follow that up. The other thing I wanted to talk about is RFK. Now, RFK was on, did a whole thing with his team with Brett Baer today. Yeah. And it got me thinking about RFK. And I'm expecting so much negative news to come out about RFK. It's not even funny. Why? Because he's going to be disrupting a major epicenter here in this country, which is healthcare, which is drugs, healthcare, everything. I read his book he wrote on Fauci, which was in the throes of COVID, in the middle of it, like hardcore timing. And he was right about everything. Now he's talking about autism and trying to get research, and they've immediately flipped that he's trying to invade people's privacy, especially people who have autistic kids or whatever. No, he's just trying to get data to solve the problem. And the premise of today's talk was really about healthcare doing what healthcare is supposed to do, which is to cure you, of remedies, to find solutions to make you healthy. Simple as that. Not just our food and nutrition, but in and how we prescribe drugs and the things we push through. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to RFK, because I have a feeling he's going to be target practice for the left and the media to try and take him down any which way they can, because of the major powers in our healthcare system that want nothing to do with solving real problems. They want something to do with making a lot of money. And he's going to be disrupting that. So anybody following RFK, give him your support. He needs that from us, because he's going to be filleted.
All right, we're back. We'll wrap it up. We'll get a little bit from everybody before we go on a Thursday night live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
I'm looking it up.
Who cares? Really?
His net worth.
Presidential pension per year, Damon, is half that, $226,300 per year.
That's a game changer.
For
right
former
there.
presidents is equal to the annual rate of basic
live on
for the
that.
heads of executive branch departments. Though Joe Biden is in line for a dual pension payout.
Oh,
hello.
Well, all those hard years that he served in the Senate, right?
Because of the Senate, right?
Yeah.
All those years.
He gets
There
a
you
dual pension.
And he's got,
probably
you know,
another 100.
Well, it's $520 a year.
413.
413.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Big D was pretty close.
Thank you.
He
Thank
was
you.
pretty close.
Slick.
But he can't live on that. He's got 5 houses. His kids have houses. They have kids. They need first class
Hey, they
tickets.
funnel
They need
money to every
vacations.
family member.
Got a nice.
They
Oh,
need
hold on a
college.
second. Hold on now. Come on. We got a super chat.
They've got
Big D.
millions stashed.
Did you see the super chat we got tonight?
No.
Yeah, your friend from your Danish friend, Alice Nielsen, gave us another $100 in the super chat.
Wow, thank
you all. Thanks for having me. So he was on the radio too on Monday. He gave you a couple of super chats there too when you were on with KDJ.
He tried to call in, couldn't get.
know.
Said his connection wasn't good. I believe he couldn't get through, but hopefully we can get him on.
And that's a fan.
In the future.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All the way, yeah. At this point, I'll bring him on the show. Come on. It's very nice. And we got the show tomorrow night live, Big D. Got to promote the hell out of that.
Tomorrow's going to be fun.
Hope
You know,
so.
People there.
It's a blast.
Bonding, you know.
The show was made to be live. It really, it serves so perfectly. So we got to get some folks out there. Come on now. Cigar bar, steak sandwiches.
Oh man, I can't wait for that.
With the super chat week we had this week, I'm going to order 2 steak sandwiches.
If we
when I
go
get it.
live and I'm not on the
Put on
stage and Delgado opens the show, you'll know why.
Yeah, you have a steak sandwich with one hand and a stogie in the other, and a bourbon on.
Can we put a camera in the cigar bar and I could do my part from there?
That would be priceless.
That would be an interesting angle.
Yep.
Oh my God, that would be so
Big D.
crazy.
A puffs and pontification.
Let's do the news.
That's why they call it the blues.
Sound like the blunts.
Sounds like the blues, yeah.
Sound like the blunts right there, Slick Rick.
Ah, yes.
That would be good.
Oh man. Talk about a conclave.
We'll have some white smoke coming out of that.
We got a new pope.
All right, 13 till the hour, not past the hour, 13 till the hour on a Thursday night. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, 103.9 LI News Radio. Of course, where you can hear the Kevin Downey Jr. Show, 9 to 11, weekday mornings on LI News Radio. And you can hear us, of course, 8 to 10, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And if you're listening on 103.9 LI News Radio, I want to see you down at the America First Warehouse tomorrow night. 8 p.m. show will be live in front of a live studio audience. And if you're on Long Island, anywhere within the sound of my voice, Suffolk County, Long Island, on 103.9 LI News Radio, come on down. We'd love to see you there. You can send me an email at lfs6b@yahoo.com if you want to come. lfs6b@yahoo.com if you want to come. We'll get you on the list. So send me an email if you're listening on 103.9 LI News Radio. We'd love to see you there. So. All right, let's get to everybody here a little bit. Slick, I'll start with you. Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. What else is going on tonight?
All right, Big D. Well, it's all over down in D.C. East. Second round, Game 2 series is now tied at 1 as the Capitals have defeated the Hurricanes 3-1. Oilers and Golden Knights, it was pushed back. Supposed to be a 9:30 puck drop. Now it's a 9:50 puck drop, so they should be getting that going in Vegas in about 2 minutes. That's Game 2 as well. Edmonton leading that series 1-0. So big night for the Vegas Golden Knights. They really need to pull that one out. And at the half, Timberwolves in control down in downtown Minneapolis. They lead that game 56-39 over the Warriors. Again, without Steph Curry, going to be a tough hill for them to climb. That's Game 2, and Timberwolves need that one because Golden State took Game 1. So they must get that one because, like we said, 95.7% of the time, if the road team wins the first 2 games in the NBA playoffs, that series is all but over. And so we will keep an eye on that break.
What do you think is going to happen with the Knicks?
I think that's Celtics are going to challenge.
What do you think is going to happen? I don't see that out playing out. I think the Celtics are going to come back, but what do you think?
I think the Knicks win tomorrow night, no doubt. I think they're going to win.
No chance.
Yeah, I think
Zero chance.
Yeah, no, they're going to win.
Okay.
You know what?
Steak sandwiches on it.
Wait, with all those super chats.
Steak sandwiches on it.
I should have a cow down there tomorrow. Never mind a steak sandwich. All right, Big D.
You know what? Game
You're
3
on.
is a must-win for the Knicks.
Boston's winning.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that is a
must-win for the
Because if they
Knicks.
lose,
Because if they lose, the
that
momentum
tightens up.
swings.
I hear you on that.
Didn't you just say Boston's winning?
I did
He
say
did.
I said no. That he's right. It would be a swing, but I'm still going with Boston tomorrow night. Yes, they are.
Oh,
They're
you're going
winning.
with Boston.
I'm going with Boston to
Oh,
win.
I thought you said the Knicks. That's
Yeah, what are you talking about? Are you delusional?
Yeah, you said the Knicks were going to win.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
You said anytime a team goes up 2-0, that series is
I don't
basically
think
over.
I've ever said the Knicks are going to win anything.
That's why.
So you think the Celtics win tomorrow night?
Yes.
As do I.
I do.
Guaranteed.
Well, who's going to win the
should
series?
make that bet.
No, I do. No.
Who's going to win?
We're
Who's
on
going to
the
win the
same page.
series?
Okay,
Okay.
no. Sorry.
Slick. Who do you think's going to win the series?
I was seeing free steak sandwiches in my future, but
safe bet.
God, I'm seeing free steak sandwiches tomorrow anyway. Here we go. MLB baseball, Big D. We got a couple of scores. We haven't done baseball tonight. We love baseball, of course. Rays and Phillies tied at 5, bottom 9. Also bottom 9, Reds and Braves in Atlanta, knotted at 4. No score there. Mid-first, Blue Jays at the Angels. Dodgers, Diamondbacks just underway as well. Earlier tonight, Twins over the Orioles 5-2. Red Sox blank the Rangers 5-0. Royals pound the White Sox 10-0. Tigers over the Rockies 10-2. And Tigers again, second game of doubleheader, 11-1. Good Lord, 21-3. They outscored them in both those games. Terrible. I got time for one quick story, Big D.
You got whatever time you want, Slickster.
We got a show here. All right. Anti-Semitism watchdog calls on Trump's World Cup task force, FIFA, to put stop to anti-Israel soccer campaign. The banner has been unfurled across several countries. This is Ryan Gatos of Fox News. Stop Anti-Semitism founder Leora Rez called on FIFA and White House FIFA World Cup 2026 task force to put a stop to the Show Israel the Red Card campaign ahead of the global soccer tournament. The campaign began in February at a UEFA Champions League match in Scotland. Celtic fans, FC fans unfurled a banner that called on FIFA and UEFA, the confederation that Israel is a part of, to punish the country's national team over its response in Gaza to Hamas October 7th, 2023 terrorists. There was no penalty against Celtic FC or its fans for the banner. Since then, CBC reported that the campaign has spread across other European countries, including Italy, Spain, and Belgium, along with Brazil, Chile, Malaysia, and Tunisia. Rez said FIFA has done nothing to combat the issue. We've seen absolutely nothing, which is so alarming, she told Fox Digital in a recent interview. We've seen the head of FIFA say and do again absolutely nothing. So basically, they don't want to see those banners when the World Cup comes here in, 2026.
Let me say something on that, because this just really gets me angry. It's appalling to me. Everybody's screaming about Israel. But do they really know what happened? You know, when they were attacked?
No.
Do people really know what happened? You know, when I was in college, I don't know if I ever told you guys this. I went to school in Germany for a year. Mm-hmm. I went to Auschwitz. I saw this, what really happened. You could talk about what happened to these people, and it sounds like just this bad thing. When you see the assembly line of how these things were really done, I mean, it brings a lot of reality to what they went through. And then you talk about all these liberal people and all these countries trying to protest against Israel because of what's going on with the Palestinians and Gaza and Hamas and all that. You know, you don't want to talk about LGBT? You have no rights there. Nothing.
Zero.
They can't do anything. You have no rights in all of these freedoms that we have in those parts of the world. And it just burns me up. What has happened to this world? It's upside down. People get attacked. They put kids in ovens. They slaughter these people, and they respond. And all of a sudden, we have all this crap.
Crazy.
It's an absolute joke.
Yep, no place for it in sports for sure. And that's a wrap in Sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. Delgado, anything else in the news you want to cover?
Yeah, a couple things real quick. I don't know if you guys caught this. I just saw this today. We were talking about the new Pope. New Pope. Sounds like new Coke.
Thanks.
New Pope out of Chicago, Pope Leo. Believe it or not, it was our own Steve Bannon who actually picked out Pope Leo last
14th.
week.
Leo the 14th.
He kind of forecasted this last
Really?
week.
Yeah, wow.
Where'd that come from?
Right here with here it is on cut number 11, I believe it is. Yeah, here he is predicting new Pope last week with Piers Morgan. Check this out, cut number 11.
I do think one of the dark horses, and I think, unfortunately, he's one of the most progressive, is Cardinal Prevost. I don't think he's getting enough play. He is certainly on the short list. as being, and I think it's pretty shocking given how the contempt they hold the American church. The American church gives so much money, they're afraid it has too much power. So they've never really wanted to have an American pope. But my understanding is Prevost is one of the ones closest to Francis ideologically. He's also had tremendous experience in Latin America. And so he's one of the ones on the short list.
Yeah, so there it is. Our very own Steve Bannon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bang.
Hitting it out of the
Steve,
park, talking about
right on.
Prevost last week. And I don't know if you saw this today, Kash Patel again testifying at the Senate Appropriations Committee, of course, about money, but they didn't ask him about money. All they wanted to do was talk to him about weaponizing the FBI. Here he is smashing down on Senator Patty Murray. Cut number 1, take it away.
Have placed on leave FBI employees responsible for the investigation of January 6th. That sounds political to me.
I have not placed anyone on leave who has not violated their ethical obligation or their oath to the Constitution.
So if they were investigating January 6th, you believe they were violating an ethical obligation?
Nope. I think the common theme here is you putting words in my mouth, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor will the men and women of the FBI.
Well, you did place on leave an analyst responsible for investigating Russia's meddling in the 2016 election. Is that politicization? Is that retribution?
No, not if she broke the law or the ethical guidelines. I don't know which case you're talking about, but that's the standard. And we will hold ourselves inwardly accountable, and we will not be strayed from our mission because people think we are politicizing the Bureau. If you want to talk about someone who was attacked by a weaponized Bureau, you're looking at him. And now he's the director of the FBI, and he's cleaning it up.
Well,
boom.
Bang. Wow.
Boom.
Swish from downtown.
Patty Murray to the face.
Someone called 911.
Yeah.
Cash is on fire.
And we got
Clean up,
roadkill.
clean up an aisle. Ouch.
Yeah.
Well
That's
done.
it.
Talk about an intellectual imbalance in conversation there. Holy cow. All right, as always, we salute our military, active and inactive, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines, everybody who protects us, keeps the country moving forward. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron, Fran, great job as always. We'll see you tomorrow night live from the America First Warehouse, 103.9 LI News Radio. Hope to see a lot of you there tomorrow night. America First Warehouse, 8 p.m. We're live. We'll see you then, live from Studio 6B.